physician working in pre-hospital unit in Maribor, Slovenia. So let me dive in. So in Slovenia, I believe universally, there are basically three main indications to hospitalize someone against their will. And that is if they're doing self-harm or harming others or doing considerable material damage due to suspected medical or psychiatric condition. If not, then they belong to prison, right? Now, my unit also does house visits, and we are also called to arrests. And I remember one particular case so vividly. We could barely get a large psychotic lady into the vehicle. She was screaming her head off, bystanders appalled, and then she soiled herself. I mean, it was ugly, it was stinking, and it was psychiatric slaughter. And I knew I had to search for a better and more humane way to do this. As a disclaimer, whatever I say from now onwards holds for a patient that as a doctor I have assessed and decided he will have his liberty taken and that he is going with me somehow, anyhow. I'm crossing the line. There's no return. For such hospitalizations, we usually get police, and the first step is to show number and force. And many times, patients figure they better go with us. Great. On the other hand, if he is not persuaded by numbers, then you have a problem and a conflict. Because once aggressive, psychotic people are pushed against the wall, there aren't really many options left anymore. I see only three. Either you use some brute force, aka brutane, or you use some sedation, or you try to de-escalate. That's it. What's your pick? You might agree that good old brutane sounds much more sexy than it is, especially in pre-hospital, where we're entering someone's house, someone's living room, on a street. Things get ugly. Things get out of hand so easily. There is shouting, there's kicking, it's very stressful, and professionalism of the team gets lost so easily. And it's even worse and more sensitive if there's family present and there are kids screaming, and I just hate this wrestling approach. On the other hand, I very much agree with Dr. Mellon. They have receptors and we have the drugs, and I'm more than happy to use them. So, great article, great methodology, clear results, except it takes freaking 40 minutes to get the patient sedated with this combo. As I said, I'm working out in the field, in the bush, in someone's bathroom, and I'm thinking, come on guys, is this some bad joke? What do you mean 40 minutes? I need to get some control over the situation, fast. When I chase my patients, many things can go wrong in those 40 minutes. And if I use something, anything, I want it to work for sure, and work now. Of course, you can try to cool floridly psychotic patient off. Well, good luck. I hate to say it, but I think in the end we really only have two forceful options for those who won't go. And that's either brute force or chemical force. Now, I must admit, I'm a ketamine guy. I believe ketamine is new magnesium and better. But ketamine IM also needs few minutes to take effect. And that's few more minutes of commotion and wrangling, which seem like hours sometimes. But it works, eventually. But let's look outside of the box. What if we could take the situation into a different direction altogether and get that IV line in somehow? I think the key is to turn the psych situation into a purely medical approach. First, send those cops away, out of sight, if possible, if safe, and approach the patient medically. Inquire about their somatic diseases, about their allergies and meds, and during that, team takes vitals, and it all looks like an ordinary primary survey. And you all mean it. And as a part of your ABCs, you also check sugar, right? Now, you don't really go explaining, but you try to get the tiny IV line to get a drop of blood for sugar. That's hard to argue with, right? And then someone openly and loudly reports that sugar is low. Beforehand, tell your staff to make up some low number, and this trick gives you a perfect opportunity to intervene. And you have to cure the low sugar, right? And as you order 4 milliliters of keto glucose or some other nonsense like that, which for the initiated staff means 4 milliliters of ketanase. Of course, you must have it with your team pre-planned, and the Tipin has to know what they're doing. And if they know, it happens so fast and so effectively that it really works. And when it works, this is what I call elegance. Now, what do my psychiatrists say, I hear you ask? Nothing much really. Or rather, if they protest, I kindly point that a bit more psychotic patient is probably better than a dead or severely injured patient, and if they do listen, I forward them some articles. But make no mistake, this is not about tricking people into IV lines. The true benefit of such approach is that it gives me and my team more calm. We don't get dragged into violence and blind reactions that much, because we know that we have better options than butane, and that we will succeed eventually and safely. And because of this confident calm, we don't escalate the situation even more. I have no data to prove it, but perhaps not paradoxically, with this confident calm we've used much less butane lately. And there is certainly less shouting and swearing, and it helps us providers keep professional and compassionate, and it gives back dignity to the patient. So in the end, I believe that a white lie and a sincere trick can make hospitalization against will much more humane. Thank you very much.